I'm getting in early tonight. That game was absolutely wild. How in the world did the Panthers come back there? You could see it. As soon as the Eels went in and the Panthers went up, the Panthers went down by 14. You could see the look in Cleary's eyes. He went, "Nah, I'm not having this. We're on." And yes, he came to the party for sure, but it was Dane Laurie, it was To'o, and Tungo there had a cracking little finish down that right hand side, and yes, some great effort from everyone else. Obviously, Cleary with a couple of those kicks, he should have, in real footy had a couple extra try assists, which he didn't get. Obviously, because he's getting into the line, digging in, and getting a 3-on-2 on the outside. These types of things. So Cleary didn't have his best game by any stretch, but he came in clutch in a bunch of those tries and a bunch of those moments when it mattered. And you saw the whole team rise, and that was in a time when Liam Martin was off in the bin. And yeah, they really just dug it out and got over the line. And the Eels played so much better than the Panthers in this game. And yeah, definitely aren't playing like a bottom two side at the moment, these last two games anyway. But we know that this clash here, Eels up against the Panthers, always ends up in a tight tussle, and a pretty tough one usually for Cleary, for a lot of these guys really, fantasy wise. It's never a cracking game, apart from like one, I think, where Cleary went nuts. But you just expected that Eels not being as good as they have been in previous years would struggle a bit, and that wasn't the case at all. I'm getting in early, guys. I've got to head to Sydney for a soccer game early tomorrow. I'm coaching, so very early, up at like 6 or something, which will be fun. But getting this in now, just so I don't have to worry about tomorrow, which will be great. So, To'o with a double, Tungo with a double. So that right-hand side was cracking tonight there. Isaac had a really good game defensively until that bad miss, and I just can't get over the defensive plays that some of these guys make in these try-scoring situations. They're one-on-one, usually with a bigger, stronger body. Why do they go and try and tackle them up high? They're literally just going to palm you off. It might come off sort of 10% of the time, but any of those tries you see where someone's going through the middle, someone's going around the outside there, they are shirt grabbing or they're trying to tackle them up high, and it's just a shocking way to go about it. You dive at their hips. You drive at their hips, you tackle their legs, whatever it is, to get that player down. There's no way in the world Isaac Tungo's getting Sean Lane down one-on-one there when he's to the side of him and he's basically passing him by going up top. And you'll see it every time a line break happens in that sort of situation. It is a shirt grab back through the middle around the outside like that. But not to overshadow how well he played, and he actually got that grubber down this time, and he scored that try at the back end there, which was massive in getting the Panthers the win. So 58 for Isaac was awesome, and a 65 for To'o. Even better at that. Isaiah Yeo with a 57. Again, just continues to work hard and it just doesn't get under 50, basically, is how it works for Isaiah when he plays close to the full 80 minutes. He's a freak. Good on him. I don't have him, so thank goodness it wasn't a 70 plus, so I'll take the 57 and run with it to the bank. The scores haven't updated, obviously, so if you're watching it now or if you watch it in the morning, you are unlikely to have an update if you're watching now, and you will in the morning. So just make sure you check out these scores as they come, and I'll check the Sharkies updates and the Sharkies and Titans updates as they potentially come through while I'm doing this video, which they haven't as yet. So we'll keep that there to have a look at as we go. So yeah, Isaiah 57. Dane Laurie needs all the flowers as well. He's been absolutely incredible. Plays a very similar style to that of Keeney, probably a little bit more ball playing, and Keeney's probably a tiny bit more elusive. But Laurie is absolutely incredible player, and to think that the Tigers just weren't playing him is absolutely ridiculous. And then he finally got that chance at 6, and they're like, bro, he's your best player. And he was crushing it, but he'd already signed with Panthers by that point. And silly that was. And he's actually played a fair few games this year, which has been really nice for him. And to come back after his head knock a couple of weeks ago, scoring really well. He was like 28 and 21 minutes, doing crazy work. And then to come out and really help them get a win here is massive. Cleary, as we said, wasn't his best game. 54 for him. The kick managers were so down. They obviously had a lot of errors, which hurt them. And then the Eels had plenty of ball. There was a lot of tries, obviously, in the end, 36-34. It's a big scoring game at 70 points. So yeah, you shouldn't expect massive scores outside of the guys that got involved in the attack there. Obviously, Cleary's it's a very normal game for him to get that kind of base. It's low in some respects. But you had Gutho with a double to get over 50. You had Tungo and also To'o a double each to get over the 50 mark, and then you're relying on guys like Laurie, Cleary, who are absolute superstars in their own right in fantasy. So yeah, that's the type of game you're going to get here. Sean Lane with a 50, along with Gutho's 54. So good stuff for those guys there. Just happy to get away with a 50 odd for Cleary. Not that it's going to matter in this scenario, given pretty much everyone has him or captained him. There's obviously a few that don't, and they would have been death riding him. And unfortunate that he didn't go under 40, basically, which it was looking at like that for a while. Ryan Madison, I was very worried about what this score was going to be. It was a 38, 39 at halftime. End up at 49, just playing 7 less minutes than the full 80. That's 73 there. So 49 you'd be very happy with as an owner, but it was looking bigger than that. And I'm glad it wasn't as a non-owner personally. I do have him in the head-to-head side, to be fair, though. So 49 we'll take still. Taruva there for a 43. I think Madison you hold for the rest of the year pretty comfortably now. Taruva with a double as well for 43. Maverick Guy came on for Scott Sorensen, who unfortunately went off with a hamstring issue, and he's just had a rough year, hasn't he, old Scotty? So hopefully he gets he gets fit and firing basically he'll come back at the back end of the season. It'll be hopefully good for finals, but he needs a better year next year, because last year was awesome. This year, not so much. So yeah, tough one for him there. But Maverick came on and had a really good game. In the end, 43 for him in 73 minutes. If we do see any sort of longer term play from someone like Gaia, he's an interesting cash out for sure if it gets to that point. Sean Russell with a try there and a couple of line breaks and a try assist for 42. Lindsay Smith and Kenny, 41 each, along with Talangi there with another try assist and try game for him. It started really well, and I think he got to about 46, 47, and an error and some missed tackles at the end of the game. Cooked him for a big score there. But he's one of those guys, he just continues to find the try line and attacking stats. So he's almost a guy that you can continue holding and looping and going from there. If Eels are going to play pretty well for the back end of this season, he could definitely do worse. Dejan Nasi there, up and down game for him, basically, is how we're going to describe this one. He was looking fairly good at one point and then just really slowed down, along with Dylan Brown, in that scenario as well, where Dylan was 22 at the break and then, end up with 7 in the second part of that game, unfortunately. For him, 2 misses, 22 made, pretty normal, pretty good. But no tackle breaks, no offloads in that one for Dylan. 85 run meters, 106 on the kicking is about what we expect, but running it's been well into the hundreds. And unfortunately couldn't save himself in this game like he did in last game there. And then Cartwright with the 30 was a pretty tough one for him out there in that 80 minutes that he played. 6 missed tackles. He has these games, doesn't he? He's gone 70, 40, and then 30 now. Him and Brown, what do you do? I suppose you've gotten through Panthers now, so if you have held to this point, you're probably continuing to hold, given we know, every time people go to sell Brown, he'll actually just pump out a 50 odd, and at his price point of mid 40s, it's a very, very good score, right? So yeah, up to you on those kind of guys. If you've got a big upgrade in mind, I completely understand. If you have lots of trades, sweet. If you have like 2 trades, probably not. But Brendan Hands with a 27, unfortunately for him, couldn't save that try of Isaac Tungo when he came around from the middle of the park there. But 8 missed tackles for him, unfortunately. Both him and Madison were in that early turnover tackle situation. So I think Hands on like 8 in 2 minutes. No, 5 in 2 minutes. Madison was 8 in 2 minutes. So that was an interesting start. And I think he was 20 odd very, very early. So tough to play the full 80 and only get 27, given he was on, close to 20 points, I think, in about 30 minutes, or even less, I think 28 minutes or something like that. When I was following along, I was like, oh God, 50 plus, here we come, but it wasn't to be. Penasini at 26, Luai at 22. So both those guys in a bit of a lull now, obviously with Cleary back. Luai's slowing down a bit, which isn't ideal. Jake Tungo at 21 for him. And then Casey McLean at 13 with that try assist as well, and Sorensen at 7. So Casey back down to earth in this one. He's actually a youngster, a normal rookie that doesn't come in and just dominate from ball one, which is exactly what's happened so far. And he finally had a bit of a lower game there for Casey. And then Sorensen, unfortunately, looks like he will be a sell if he wasn't already this week. And I know a bunch of people did already sell him. Then he clearly was now. And then Matt Dury only came on and played the 8 minutes there. And Lussick didn't get on the park. So, again, that's that tough. They basically didn't use 2 of their bench. So, yeah, interesting how that one's played. And then, Greg played 24. And then you've got, Kier did end up playing 40 minutes, I suppose. But, yeah, interesting how they worked that one out. And we go to the Sharkies absolutely demoralizing the Titans there. That was a tough one. I ended up deciding to lock in my tip of the Titans, given how they've been playing, and tip them at home. And that was just a disgusting pick, obviously. So no good on that front. There's still no updates in this game. So I'm just going to go with it as is right now. You should have updates by the time this comes out, I imagine. But Iro, best scorer of the year with a 69. Woohoo. Happy with that. I think he's just a tick over 90% owned. So there's still people that don't own him. So yeah, it's not all, it's not all silly to be like, oh yeah, cheer him on because, everyone has him. Not everyone does. There's still, 90 people or so in the top 1,000 that don't have him, for example, there. So he's been awesome. 24 tackles in that as well. Jack Williams was 67. He had a cracking game, and he's an awesome player, man. He's growing each and every week there, Jack Williams is. And got the opportunity to play 13 there with McInnes moving to a 7, 13, 9 role. Basically a 7 role, link man type of thing. And Williams is great. And we know that he's had a really, really good year, improving each of the last 2 years and doing good stuff. Hazelton with a 59 for him in 41 minutes. He basically came on, I think, in the first minute that he got and scored that try, and then played a really good game outside of that. So a bit more like what he was like at the beginning of the year. Remember that whenever people were buying Oregon Kaufusi and Hazelton, they were just absolutely dominant, scoring tries and setting them up, those two, for a while there. So that was cool. Brenton Nickera, this was a strange game for him, wasn't it? He had a try assist early, really good try assist at that. And then it just all slowed down. He was missing tackles. They had the ball the whole time, so he wasn't, you get the odd run, but he wasn't getting his tackles. Just very, very slow accumulation. He was on sort of like 20 odd for a bit there, and then he picked up that try off the back, and then picked up a few more tackle breaks, got an offload. There's a bunch of different things at the back end of this game that helped into a 54. But to be fair, with a try assist and a try, it could have been anything. I'm not sure if he's going to end up with a line break for that bad back. Maybe not, but either way, 54 for him. As a non-owner, I think, we'll take it in the end, but I was hoping for a little bit less at one point. But we know that as soon as Sharks score a lot of points, he seems to be in it. He's very much an attacking style player. So yeah, can't complain too much there. Owners and non-owners for sure, given his price pretty well almost where he scored at there. Toby Rudolph got a try as well, so that was nice. It was a medium level scoring game, I suppose. You've got 7 players there, 50 plus, which is cool. So Fafita with a 50 in the 80 minutes, just a bit rough again. There's nothing much happening. Like for someone so damaging of a ball runner, only 77 meters, but also in a game where they hardly had the footy. Sharks winning 44-0 is just wild in this one here. Sharks look some of their best footy they've played all season. Of course, Atkinson was at the helm. Shock. Love Atkinson. But the team just, really, really played great. The forwards absolutely dominated. They were great through the center. And, then they were able to get the spoils with all those guns that they have out in the edges and on either side there, which is great. But you had tries to Williams, Hazelton, and also Rudolph all through the middle, which was great. Ramian got 2 try assists and a try, so good stuff for him for a 50. Yeah, Fafita's a tough one. He's still averaging 62 for the year, but it doesn't feel like it in the last bunch of weeks anyway, with a 52 and a 50. But Verrills with a 48, Atkinson with a 46, both playing the full 80, which was nice for them. And anyone that owns them, you're very, very happy with that. Stone Street, a double if you looped him for a 45. Happy days on that front. McInnes at a 44 as of now, and unsure if that's going to change too much. I think it should go up 1. I think the boys were saying that he deserves a turnover tackle for that try saver that he got, which I do completely agree, because he did end up losing it due to him, I will say, given he had his hand under the ball there. So he should go up to a 48 or a 49. I think he's very close at 88 run meters right now. So, yeah, it could get up to a 48-49, which would be ideal. For McInnes owners, it was looking pretty poor for a bit there, and he only got the 6-minute rest at the end of the game. Jolliffe getting back into some minutes for him, 38 in 48, but 5 missed tackles, a bit higher than what we've been used to seeing from him across the season so far. But coming back from that pec tear, getting used to things again, especially against this tough tackle busting team. Kieran Foran with the 44, pretty solid there for him. If anyone still owns him, he's actually got all the way up to 560, which is crazy. So good stuff there. Blake Brayley is 37, not ideal at all. Did end up with a try assist though. Chris Randall with a 37 in 67 minutes, so very close to the minutes he's been playing. Probably a tiny bit less, where he's been about that 73, 74 mark. But yeah, 51 run meters, tackle numbers at 34. A little bit low on both fronts, definitely the running side. And tackles, you kind of need him to be in the high 40s there in this type of game to do well. So 37. What are you going to do? I think you're just going to have to cop it, unfortunately, with Randall on that one. Campbell with a 31 for him in the 80 minutes. Pretty rough. 7 missed tackles there. He was clutching his wrist right at the back end, but with about 10 minutes to go, and seemed to play out the rest of the game okay. But 4 tackle breaks, 3 offloads for him. When those stats kind of come out, you'd hope that it's going to be like a 50-plus type of game, but yeah, 44-0, you probably can't expect too much there, and he does just seem to find the offload and kind of save his score a little bit, which he did in this one for sure. But only 1 point in net tackles, and then 65 run meters, and 125 from the kicking side. So yeah, Foran definitely going back into more of that dominant role, and he picked up 4 forced dropouts in this one, trying to help them and trying to save the day there, that's for sure. So Campbell, a little bit of a worry over the last few weeks for sure. What should you do with him? He's priced at 50. I think that when they play some of the easier teams, he will be able to dominate, and then there'll be other times where he won't be able to dominate, which is like this. So yeah, hopefully they have a big bounce back, and he's one of the focal point guys surrounding that. Fodawaker with 28 with a sin bin. He's probably got a bit to answer for at the judiciary, I'd imagine. So, completely fair sin bin at that, going just unnecessarily high and hitting with force there. Aaron Clark with 28 and 45. Yeah, that awesome try saver from McInnes that cooked him. So, and he owns that. He could have got up to in the 40s, but instead got an error. You had Brimson with the 27 with a try saver, turnover tackle early on in the game, which was good for him. But, I think he held his own enough in the centres, 15 tackles, 1 miss. But, yeah, he's hard to get in the footy, and yeah, it's good to have Keeney out there for sure, but he obviously didn't have his best game either, missing 6 tackles, having a couple of errors. Did look very, very threatening at times, which he's going to. He's just so elusive and so quick, but they couldn't penetrate. Sharks were too good in this one, that's for sure. Oregon Kafusi, the fall from grace for him. He's actually only made 39K for the season now, and I think it's going to be a little bit lower than that after this 26. He had Cleese Haas with 26 as well in 54. Hopefully Keeney, for owners of him, he continues to get that role. Talakai, a try with 22. Sione Katoa with 25. And then the Phil Sami, 25 there. And he ended up playing these 70 minutes there. What happened with him? I actually didn't see him go off. Did he go off at the end? Must have. I'll have to check that out, actually. I can do that play by play. Give me a quick check there. We've got... Tony Francis came on. Yeah, not sure. Maybe just because they had him on the bench, they wanted to give him a crack. But yeah, hopefully he's okay. I actually can't remember that one. What happened? I just remember saying, Tony Francis is on. I didn't realise that Sammy went off, though, because I wasn't following Philip on that one. But yeah, there you go. Let me know if there's anything anything to do with that one. And then Jaden Burrell getting a solid 7 minutes there for McInnes. But yeah, hopefully Phil Sami's okay. But a 25 for him, just rough. Like with how good he'd been playing, 50+ in every centre start that he's had in the last month there, to go into this, and a bit of a tough one at that. Actually, Beryl ended up playing 28 minutes. Scratch that. Didn't see him on there too much, to be fair. I wasn't following him. I was just trying to follow my players, I think, and Campbell and these types of guys. Yeah, Talakai, Beryl, Hunt, Pahulu, Liu, Jojo Fafita, another fall from grace guy, obviously 44-0 drubbing. A 16 for him, Khan Pereira with a 12 as well. So pretty rough at that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this one. I'm going to post it. It's 10:34 right now. I need to go get ready for tomorrow morning, and then get some sleep. So thanks so much for being here. As always, you're all legends, and I wish you the best of luck on your Saturday games. I'm going to go hang out with some mates after at the pub probably and watch some footy after the morning soccer game. So wish us luck, and we'll catch you in the next video as always.